This is the Loaded Radio Podcast.
All right, it's Scott Penfold, and thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Loaded Radio Podcast. And a great podcast this week, as I'm going to be talking to Epica founder and vocalist, guitarist Mark Jansen, as he's joining us live via Zoom from his home in Italy. Now, Mark, a very prominent figure in the symphonic metal subgenre, known, of course, for his work with After Forever, Epica, and as well Mayan. Jansen founding the band After Forever with Sander Gomans back in 1995, and then saw the addition, of course, of future Nightwish vocalist Floor Jansen in 1997, and then eventually forming the band Epica in 2002 with then-girlfriend and still current vocalist Simone. Now, the band have the new album due February 26th via Nuclear Blast. It's called Omega, and it was produced, once again, by Joost Vandenbroek. Mark, it's great to have you here. Thanks so much for joining me on the podcast today.
Thank you very much.
No problem at all. No problem at all. Now, getting down to the new album, which is going to be dropping February 26th. This is your 8th studio album. From what I've heard 3 tracks from it. It sounds fantastic, man. The first single in particular really jumps out for me, Freedom, The Wolves Within. I think it's one of those great songs that really showcases, your gutturals playing off of Simone's melodic vocals.
Thank you.
Tell me about that song.
Yeah, that song was actually the first song we wrote for this album. So it must have been already like 4 years ago that the first riffs for the song were born. I was at soundcheck and I was a bit bored, so I started playing, and suddenly I had the riff of Freedom in mind. And then when I got back home, I recorded it, and from one thing came another, so it became the first song we had for this album.
It's just got that great Epica sort of stamp on it, you know what I mean? Which really is a great way to lead off.
I think it's gonna be a good one to play live. I think that has a nice vibe, and people are gonna enjoy this one live. I think so too.
Definitely. I think so too. Now, Vicky Psarakis from The Agonist, she appears on the album with some guest vocals on Twilight, Reverie. Why Vicky, and how did that happen?
Yeah, it's actually, we were looking for a female with a strong voice for a spoken word part. And then Koen suggested to ask Vicky, because we know her already, because we toured a couple of times with her, and she wanted to do it. And sounds exactly like we were hoping for. So it's just a spoken word part, but powerful.
I find when it comes to Epica that imagery, it really seems to play a very important part of the band in your music, and especially in your videos as well, with the new visualizer that just came out, which is really, really well done as well. Why do you think that imagery is so important for Epica?
I think that it's not just the music, but people also, because there's a lot of things happening digital nowadays, that people decide themselves what to listen to and what to watch. And I think the visuals are also very important in order to, first of all, before an album gets released, to prepare the people for what's going to come. And then it's more nice to listen to a song with also some visuals coming along. And even though that nowadays these music video programs, they are not so big anymore like it used to be in the past. But still, I think videos play an important role for bands, just to show the band in a different way.
Yeah, and it really works too, especially with your style of music. And like I was just talking about the new visualizer video you've got, it's very haunting and very cool. I really like that. Now, the amount of orchestration in the band seems so important as well. You've got releasing additional instrumental versions of songs as well. Now, where did the marriage of symphonic music and metal really come together for you, in your opinion?
I think that already started when I was young, when I was about 12 years old. I think I had already the dream to one day be in a band and combine classical music with metal music, because I loved already back in the days heavy music, but I also listened to classical music, and I always thought like these two apparent opposites would work very well together. And back in the days there was almost no band combining these two. And then when I was about 16, some bands started doing that, and also adding some female vocals. And that was exactly also what I always loved to do. So I right away joined that style with After Forever. the rest is history.
Yeah, and it still works as well with Simone as it did with Floor, I think, as well. You'd mentioned some of the bands that had influenced you. Who were some of those bands that influenced you back in those days?
Definitely Orphanage. They were one of the first that started combining some classical music influences together with metal and a female vocalist. And also The Gathering on mandolin. They had Anneke van Giersbergen, and I thought it was a fantastic combination. And then I also saw a show of Within Temptation on a festival. That was also really like impressive, and that impressed me, that show. Then these three bands, I think they put like the basis for us.
Oh, actually, let's get back to this though. Joost Vanderbroek was once again your producer. He also produced the Quantum Enigma and the Holographic Principle. What is it about Joost? Why working with Joost?
First of all, I know him already quite a long time, from back in the days when he was a keyboard player in Suncage. That was a progressive metal band.
Yeah. And
then later on, when I was already not in After Forever anymore, he became the keyboard player of After Forever. So often when we played with After Forever and Epica on the same festival or a dual headline show, then we always ran into each other. And then when he started producing, I always kept an eye on him. And when we had the chance to work with him, we took the chance. And ever since, it's like he's one of the guys. So we really love working with him. He knows exactly what we want. He's got the drive to get the best out of us. So it's a very nice combination. And even though we also worked very well with Sasha Pitt over all those years, it was at a certain point after many years, it was time for something new, something refreshing. So that was the only reason why we changed producer, because we still also work on vocal lines with Sasha Pitt. He's also still involved, also amazing guy.
I was thinking about how long you've been working with Simone now, for 18 years, since 2002, who was at the time when you formed the band, she was your girlfriend. How is it working with Simone today? Is there still a close friendship there?
Yes, we are very close friends. And I was just talking to her like 1 hour ago. Yeah. And we are very good friends. We understand each other. And I think it's very unique to have a good relationship with your ex-girlfriend. Not many people have the same way. Not many.
It's working with them, yeah.
Yeah, not many new partners would like that, but
no.
Our partners have no problem with that whatsoever. So it's a very unique situation, and I'm really happy that it worked out this way, because for both of us, Epica is our passion, our love, and we would have never wanted to give it up just because the relationship ended. And then afterwards, that we even still became tight friends. That's great. So I'm really thankful that we could work it out this way.
Certainly do, and I think a lot of people are glad it worked out too. You know what I mean? Yeah. Especially when it comes to your growled sort of guttural vocals, and they sort of complement Simone's more elegant sort of vocals. And you did it with Floor Jansen as well in After Forever. It's very much a trademark, I think, for you, Mark.
Yeah, thank you. I also think it really fits very well together in our style, and because we are more heavy than many bands in our style. So we are, yes. I think, the heaviest, or one of the heaviest at least. And so because we are that heavy, also the grunts fit really well with our style of music, because if we would be more a soft band, the grunts would not be so powerful. It's because of the music that I can be so powerful. So it's a win-win situation, I think.
It really is. And I know we were talking about it a bit earlier. I just think it's really cool how there's just two very significant and different styles that are brought together with a band like Epica. And it works. It just so beautifully works, man. So I think it's great.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, going back, actually, we were talking about After Forever. What led to your decision to leave After Forever back in 2002?
Yeah, it was the kind of two captains on one ship thing. There was Sander Commans in the band and me. We started the band together as youth friends. But at a certain point, he had basically always the opposite opinion as what I had. He wanted to go that way. I wanted to go that way. And at a certain point, it just didn't work that way anymore. And so it was better to split ways. And I formed my own band. He continued with After Forever. And so he could do exactly the way the things he wanted to do, and I could do with Epica the things the way I thought was best. And then everybody was happy. So of course it was not easy for me because I had to start all over again, and he could continue. So it was more easy for him. But yeah, luckily also with Salnov, by the way, I had today a contact. it's a coincidence, yeah. Because I congratulated him with his release was today of his band, Phantom Elite. He released an album today.
That's really cool that you guys still keep in contact, man. That's very cool.
Yeah. But I'm also happy that whatever happens in my life, also sometimes you have some struggles with people, but it's much nicer if you solve the situation always afterwards and then get along very well. That I always try to get along with people in a good way, because I don't like to have fights or arguments, or that you see somebody on a festival and that there is some kind of tension. I always try to solve the situation. And if some people, they are so stubborn, they never want to solve things, and it's also fine. Then I let it be. But usually I'm the kind of guy who always wants to solve situations and have a beer with everybody. So the world is too small. You see each other everywhere. So I highly prefer to have a good vibe with everybody.
I think that's a great vibe. That's a great way to be as well, especially, in that industry. When it comes to the label of symphonic metal as it applies to Epica, is it something that you embrace? Do you like that title?
Yeah, symphonic metal. I think that works very well because in the past they also called it sometimes gothic metal, but I think that was less I would say less clear for a band like us, because we're not a typical gothic band. Symphonic metal, that fits much better, I think.
I think so as well too. And also when it comes to like just listening to Epica and just the amount of symphony involved. I mean, did you guys actually bring in a full symphony into the studio then? Or because it sounds just so vast on the album, you know what I mean?
Yeah. We recorded with the Prague Symphony Orchestra and we went to record it. Yeah. And we had 3 days of recordings, and they literally worked from morning till evening, like 10 o'clock till 6 o'clock. And they arrive like 5 minutes before 10, and then they start playing at 10. And at 6 o'clock, they go home. So even if you are in the middle of a take or just not finished, at 6 o'clock, they go home.
Wow, really? Union rules or something.
Yeah, so we had to get used to that way of working a little bit, but it's also comprehensible for them. It's just a job. So every time there comes new productions, new people, if they every time would go overtime, they would never see their family. So I completely understand that they work this way, and it's our job then to get everything done in time.
Certainly, man. And what are your plans for the next little while then? I mean, obviously we're still sort of dealing with a pandemic here. You got the new album out. I mean, what's your plan for Epica and for yourself, Mark? Yeah,
first of all, with Epica, I think if it takes too long before we can do shows, try to set up some kind of a live stream, because at least we want to play some of the new songs. I've been also rehearsing them already for quite a while, so I'm very eager to play them. Yeah. And personally, I live in the south of Italy, and there's maybe a strict lockdown coming up again. We are already a red zone, so there's not much possible, but there is a possibility that we get locked in our houses again, and I'm not really looking forward to that. But
no.
But I'm in a fortunate situation that I live in the countryside, and at least I have a garden where I can spend my time on good days outside. I have 3 dogs, 6 cats, so I still having a good time. But I'm a guy who likes freedom, who likes to go outside and go cycling, go running. And normally also visit friends, but that of course is more difficult now. But at least to have some sort of freedom. And so I really hope that it's not going to happen, that we get a new strict lockdown that we are not allowed to get out of our houses again. But yeah, we will know next week, then they decide about that. Yeah, because I have really I feel sorry for these people living in cities that when you cannot even go in a garden, it's much more tough. So I should not even complain.
No, I understand, man. Mark, you've been the best, man. This has been a great talk. I can't thank you enough for taking the time to talk to me today.
Thank you very much. And have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Take care, Bal. Bye-bye. All right, once again, the album is called Omega. It drops February 26th via Nuclear Blast, the 8th studio album from Epica. Don't forget, as always, check out loadedradio.com for your hard rock and metal news updated daily as well. A 24-hour stream right there for you. Tons of metal and hard rock streaming 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with live personalities. It's all right there for you at loadedradio.com. And we'll talk to you again on the next edition of the Loaded Radio podcast.
Loaded Radio.